If Jesus were not speaking to a crowd, if he spoke only to you about how to live, how to love, how to carry your heart in this world, this is what it would sound like. Stop showing off. Not because it's wrong, but because it slowly empties you. Jesus didn't live trying to be seen. He didn't build his life around how things looked from the outside, and that wasn't accidental. So here's the advice, simple, practical. Don't turn your life into an announcement. You don't need to show people what you bought, where you went, or how well things are going. If something is good, let it be good quietly. If you notice yourself wanting people to notice, pause. Ask why. Most of the time, it's not joy. It's insecurity asking for reassurance. And that never lasts. If you own things, make sure they don't end up owning you. If you start needing them to feel confident, to feel ahead, to feel respected, step back. That's the moment you're drifting. Jesus lived free because he wasn't attached. Be content in everything. Contentment isn't about having nothing. It's about knowing when you already have enough. A lot of people think they'll feel settled once they reach a certain point. More money, a better place, more recognition. But that feeling keeps moving. So you have to learn this early. If your needs are met today, allow yourself to admit that. Don't rush past it. If you have food, a place to sleep, and some peace in your mind, you're not doing badly, even if your life isn't perfect yet. Comparison is what ruins that. The moment you start measuring your life against others, you'll feel behind no matter how far you've come. So don't do that to yourself. And when you do have extra, more than you actually need, don't hold on to it too tightly. If someone around you is struggling and you can help, help them. Don't overthink it. You don't need a perfect plan to do something good. And never be prideful. Pride is tricky because most people don't think they're proud. It doesn't always look like arrogance. Sometimes it looks like always needing approval. Sometimes it looks like wanting people to notice your achievements. Sometimes it's just quietly thinking you're doing better than others. Be careful with that. You don't need to display your life to prove that it's meaningful. If you're always showing what you have or what you're doing, it usually means you're trying to reassure yourself. And that's exhausting. Instead, let your life be steady and private where it can be. Not everything needs to be shared. Not everything needs validation. Confidence grows when you don't need to explain yourself all the time. One thing that will save you a lot of regret is learning when not to speak. When emotions are high, your judgment is usually off. That's when people say things they don't mean and create problems they didn't need to have. So pause before responding, especially when you feel defensive or angry. You don't lose strength by waiting. Most of the time, waiting gives you clarity. Silence can prevent damage that words can't undo. Being calm doesn't mean you're weak. It usually means you're in control. Now, when it comes to love, understand this. Love is important, but it needs boundaries. You can care about people deeply and still protect yourself. You don't have to accept everything just to keep someone close. If someone keeps crossing lines, hurting you, or draining you, pay attention. Love doesn't mean ignoring reality. You're allowed to step back without hating them. You're allowed to say no without feeling guilty. Love doesn't require you to disappear. Healthy love allows both people to remain whole. And remember, you will be criticized no matter what you do. That's what Jesus said in Matthew 10:22. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake. But he who endures to the end will be saved. Some people will give feedback because they care. Others will speak because they're projecting their own frustrations. Your job is to learn the difference. When criticism has truth in it, accept it calmly and grow. When it doesn't, don't carry it around with you. You don't need to respond to everything. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. Most of the time, your actions over time will speak for you. And you will be misunderstood, and sometimes rejected. Yes, rejection hurts, especially when it comes from people you expected support from. But rejection doesn't always mean you did something wrong. Sometimes it just means you're moving in a direction others can't follow. Don't let rejection make you bitter or smaller. Learn from it, but don't let it define you. Not everyone is meant to walk with you through every stage of life. And in this life, you need to learn to forgive. Forgiveness isn't something you arrive at immediately, and it's not pretending that what happened was okay. Forgiveness starts when you realize that carrying this hurt is costing you more than it's costing the person who hurt you. Holding on to resentment feels justified at first, but over time, it drains you. It keeps the wound open. Forgiveness is the decision to stop letting the past decide how you live today. It doesn't mean trust is restored. It doesn't mean the relationship goes back to how it was. It means you're choosing peace over control. And that choice usually takes time. Be patient with yourself in that process. Most people think forgiveness is about the other person. It's not. Forgiveness is about what happens to you when you don't forgive. When someone hurts you and you hold on to it, that pain doesn't stay in the past. It follows you. It starts showing up in your reactions, your tone, your trust, your patience. When you don't forgive, a few things start happening inside you, usually without you noticing. You replay things in your head. You keep revisiting conversations. You imagine what you should have said or done. That takes energy, mental energy, emotional energy. And over time, it changes how you see people. You become quicker to assume bad intentions, slower to trust, less patient. Not because you're a bad person, but because you're carrying weight you were never meant to carry. Unforgiveness keeps wounds open. So, forgiveness is simply deciding that what happened will not control your future. You're saying, "This hurt me, but I won't let it shape who I become." That's strength, not weakness. And most importantly, do good. Do good things quietly and consistently. Help people when you can. Be kind without expecting recognition. Not everything good needs an audience. Who you are in private matters more than who you are in public. Character is built in small, ordinary moments. How you treat people when you're tired. How you act when there's nothing to gain. How you speak when no one is watching. These moments shape you more than big achievements ever will. One last thing. Learn to be thankful, even in small things. Don't wait for big moments to be grateful. Most of life isn't made of breakthroughs. It's made of ordinary days. Waking up, eating a meal, having strength to get through work, getting home safely. If you only thank God when something big happens, you'll miss how often He's already sustaining you. Gratitude keeps your heart steady. It reminds you that even when life feels uncertain, you are still being held. Start small. Thank God for things you usually overlook. Breath, time, help, protection, clarity, even rest after a hard day. Gratitude doesn't ignore problems. It just keeps problems from becoming everything. And never stop praying. Prayer isn't something you do only when life falls apart. It's how you stay connected when life is normal, busy, and quiet. You don't need perfect words. You don't need long prayers. You don't need to sound spiritual. Just talk honestly. Pray when you're confused. Pray when you're tired. Pray when you're grateful. Pray when you don't know what to do next. Prayer keeps you grounded. It reminds you that you're not carrying life alone. And when you pray regularly, not just in emergencies, you start noticing peace where there used to be anxiety, clarity where there used to be noise. Before you feel overwhelmed by everything you've just heard, let me remind you of this. You're not expected to do all of this on your own. You actually can't. Jesus never taught these things assuming human strength alone could carry them. He knew we would fail, forget, grow tired, and fall back into old patterns. That's why God didn't just give instructions, He gave help. He gave you the Holy Spirit as a helper who lives with you, walks with you, and works inside you. The Holy Spirit is the one who reminds you when you forget, who softens your heart when it hardens, who brings clarity when your thoughts feel noisy and scattered. You don't change yourself into a better person. You make room, and God does the work. So invite Him in. Ask Him to clean your thoughts when they're messy. Ask Him to soften your heart when it's guarded. Ask Him to correct you gently, not harshly. Ask Him to give you patience, humility, and strength where you lack it. And when you lean on the Spirit, you'll see yourself changing. That's how real growth happens. Take it one day at a time. Stay thankful. Keep praying. And trust that God is working in you, even when you don't feel it. That's enough.